when we're looking at the data, I want to know about fraud. I want to know about product. I'm at a restaurant. I want to know about product that is expiring or we're not keeping it on the shelf properly. What's the data I look at for that? Because this then comes to, we know your top line. Everybody's concerned with sales. But if you're not watching your bottom line and your expenses are out of control on 400 or 15,000 stores, that can get ugly quick.
Absolutely. And so what's happened is really in a community and a partnership with our customers. We have a very community-oriented focus with our customers where we want us all to be collaborating. And many of the things that we deliver in terms of value and in terms of use cases originally started with our customers. And so today it's in three areas that we provide value. The first one is in sales performance and understanding of what's happening in the sales channel. And so that can include comparing your performance against a plan, your performance against prior periods. We can look at things like, I mentioned, the effectiveness of a promotional program. We can look at the effectiveness of loyalty. Who are my best loyalty customers and what are they buying?
Never looks like the plan, Russ. I mean, anybody who's ever run a company and says, we've got a plan, we're going to do. I mean, have you seen the earnings from the stock market over the last 2 months? Every company is off on their, we've missed projections. Well, of course.
Absolutely. And I want to know that as soon as possible.
Right,
and so what we enable you to do is to know up until about an hour ago about how you were doing against that plan and to be able to aggregate it together. So we have about 50 use cases in the whole revenue performance area, and that includes loyalty and customer acquisition and those kinds of things. Our history, as I mentioned, was in loss prevention, but we've expanded our loss prevention and asset protection into a wide variety of cost and expense controls. So just looking at, for example, local variable costs, like a restaurant may source buns locally. Well, understanding how that's happening across the chain, who's getting a good deal, who's not getting a good deal, will allow you to make better decisions on what suppliers that you can use and that are giving you the best performance on the bottom line. Cost and expense. Another example of cost and expense control. Most restaurants, the manager is allowed to comp meals if a customer has a complaint and so what we find is that when you have 1,000 locations, you've got some managers that are a little overzealous on giving the free meals, and others that aren't using it at all. And so what you want is you want a balance. You want people using the tool that they've gotten, in this case, the comped meals, but not abusing it. And so what our software will do is it'll give headquarters managers a very, very easy to see chart that says, all right, everybody above this line is using this comp meals privilege above the mean or above a standard deviation above the mean. And so management can focus their attention on the people that are having an impact. In this case, we're talking about a negative impact on margins and on results. So we have at least 36 different use cases in that area. And then the third area that we focus on is on compliance. And what I like to talk about here is ensuring that we have alignment from the boardroom down to the stockroom.
We're talking with Russ Hawkins. He's with Agilence, Agilence, Agile and Intelligence, Agilence, and they deal in data. They deal in loss prevention. They help you with your sales performance. They help you with your costs, and they help you with compliance, which Russ was just about to jump all over. Russ, explain to people, if somebody runs a company and they have, 10 or 15 people and they're running an accounting firm or a dentist's office, they're not thinking much about compliance. There's no higher ups, there's no HQ, corporate management, public company stock, fraud, all of this stuff is on a pretty small level. But before you jump into how you help people with compliance, explain the importance of compliance when you've got hundreds of stores.
Well, I don't think there's anything more important than compliance in the sense that I would like to talk about it. So compliance is really two aspects of compliance that we focus on. The first one is kind of external compliance. So if you're in the business of being a retailer or a restaurant, there are certain rules that you need to adhere to. If you're selling cigarettes, you're selling alcohol, you need to check IDs. If you're in the cannabis business, there's a lot of state level requirements that need to be met. Grocers have a lot of cash, so money laundering can be an issue in groceries. So there's a whole set of things that need to be done around compliance. One of the biggest ones external is in the pharmacy business. We've all heard the stories about the opioid abuses.
Right.
Well, the drugstores have gotten into deep trouble by not identifying patterns in the data, not understanding where they have pill-pushing doctors and where they have doctor shopping patients, right? And so you can't put your head in the ground if you're a big corporation or a small corporation with the external compliance requirements. So the downside of not paying attention to them is you go to jail, or maybe you'll definitely get fined, and maybe you'll go to jail. So there's some clear reasons why you want to make sure you're complying with external requirements. But I think it's more important that you get the internal compliance aligned. And what I like to say is we want to make sure anybody running a business, once you have to be in two places, you got to have people doing things that you want them to do against a strategy that you want to execute on. And so I can sit in my boardroom and I can create a strategy, but if I can't translate that strategy down to the stock room, then I'm no good, right? I've got to have alignment between what's happening in the boardroom and what happens in the stock room every day.